Hi, my name is Amina, and this is my blog on human development. As humans develop, there are changes in physical, cognitive, and social emotional processes. There are 5 stages of human development, including infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and aging. For this blog specifically, I will be focusing on childhood and adolescence into adulthood. For the interview portion, I will be interviewing my best friend, Sanaya Calvin, considering we are in the same developmental period.
Hello.
Starting off with infancy, according to Piggott, the first stage is sensory motor. This deals with sensations and movements as an infant. This occurs between birth and 2 years of age. Object permanence is also a big thing during this time period, meaning that babies are able to understand that an object exists without seeing, hearing, or touching it. Moving on to stage 2, which is childhood. In Erickson's 8 stages of psychosocial development, it is stages 2, 3, and 4, which are autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, and industry versus inferiority. During this time period, children develop a sense of responsibility and experience social changes in their life, whether they're making friends at preschool or meeting other kids around their age and finding things that interest them. So, starting off with our first question, Sanaya, what is an experience in preschool that you recall giving you a sense of responsibility, and how did it make you feel?
So, an experience that I had in preschool that I can recall that gave me a sense of responsibility is being the line leader for my class. So, essentially, what that means is that I was the first person that was in line whenever we were going outside for recess or going to another classroom or anything to that nature. And being tasked with this responsibility, it gave me like kind of like a sense of purpose in the classroom, and it made me excited to go to school every single day.
I can agree with a sense of purpose. I remember when I was in preschool, I had the task of feeding our pet fish for a week. And I know, like, every single day I was excited to go to school because I knew that, like, that was my responsibility and that, like, I would be able to get that done when I went to school. So, moving on to adolescence, during this time period is when puberty occurs. So, hormonal and physical changes in the body. Teens and adolescents experience identity versus identity confusion, which means finding out who you are, what you are, and where you're going to go in life. Career exploration is a major thing during this time period. I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be a million different things, from like a model to a gymnast and so on. And it wasn't until 8th grade where I settled on culinary arts as my future career. Peer and parental influences also play a big part during this time period. So, Sanaya, growing up, what are some different careers that you have considered as a child?
So I basically wanted to be everything when I was a child. I wanted to be a professional tennis player, a professional bowler. I wanted to fly rockets, be an astronaut. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to be an engineer, a teacher, professor. Anything that you could think of, I wanted to be.
And now, moving on, can you recall a positive or negative peer slash parental influence during your adolescence?
Yeah, so a positive influence during my adolescence were definitely my parents. One of the main things that I could clearly remember is that they always told me to give my best in anything that I've done, whether it be sports, school, or just things of that nature. Even if I don't necessarily score well on the exam, they wouldn't be mad that I got a bad grade. They'll just, as long as I tried my best or did the best I could possibly do and put my all into it. And I feel like that's been a huge positive influence in my life.
Okay, good. Moving on to adulthood, this occurs between the ages of 18 and 25. So both of us are experiencing or merging adulthood right now. This is when we're in peak physical condition. We're exploring our identities between love or work. We are experiencing instability as well with residential changes, whether we're moving from home, moving states, regardless, we're experiencing instability. Self-focus is a big thing, also feeling in between, like we're not really children or adolescents, but we don't necessarily feel like we are adults, like our parents are adults. And this is an age of possibilities. This is where we're transforming our life to become the person that we will 10 years from now. So, Sanaya, how has your childhood transformed your mindset for your future goals and ambitions?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've taken from my childhood and brought with me to my current stage in life is definitely the idea or the mindset of trying everything. So when I was younger, my parents really pushed me to be comfortable with going outside of my comfort zone, which sounds like counterintuitive, but they always just told me like to try different things, to expose myself to different um, experiences. And I've definitely taken this mindset and this ideology into my current life. And I've been trying to do different things, experience different um, places, activities, people, and just be really open minded. And I feel like it's been very beneficial. I've gained so many memories that I will cherish for a lifetime.
I definitely feel like I can agree. My parents pushed me and all of my siblings a lot when we were younger to be the best versions of ourselves and like get out and experience new things. That's why like I've taken the opportunity to move states for new experiences and pursuing my career and goals in life. So I definitely can agree with that. And now on to mid and late adulthood. This is where changes start to get a little bit different. Strength and speed slowly decline starting in our 30s. Skin starts to wrinkle and sag, so physical differences. Menopause starts to occur in women during their like late 50s, which is a decline in estrogen. Cognitive decline has been shown in some studies, whether it's reaction time or remembering compared to being in adolescence or childhood. However, life satisfaction is greater than adolescence, especially in terms of relationships. Older people have found more satisfaction with their partners rather than adolescents. And now moving on to the last stage of aging, there are three different biological theories. The first one being cellular clock theory, which is the theory that cells lose the ability to divide over time. So they're constantly dividing throughout our lifetime, and eventually they slowly start to lose that ability, leading to aging. Free radical theory is another one, which explains that people age because oxygen molecules, which are called free radicals, are produced in their cells and damage DNA and cellular structure. And then finally, hormonal stress theory is a theory that prolonged elevated levels of stress hormones are linked to increased risks for disease. In conclusion, there are five different stages of development from infancy to childhood to adolescence to adulthood and to finally aging. Each stage, the body is changing physically, cognitively, social, emotionally. There are changes throughout our entire lifespan. So thank you to Sanaya for doing this interview with me. And that is the end of my human development blog. Thank you.